Ever scroll past those Wall Street Journal headlines and think, mergers, acquisitions, what's the deal with all of that?
Or maybe you've got that friend, the one who talks about leverage buyouts like it's a game of Monopoly.
Well, get ready, because today we're doing a deep dive into the world of investment banking. No jargon, just the key players, the deal making, and why it all matters to, well, you. So, investment bank, what comes to mind? Those big glass towers in New York City?
You're not far off.
Those are the stomping grounds of what we call bulge bracket banks. The big names, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, they're like the giants of the industry.
The heavy hitters.
Exactly. But here's where it gets even more interesting. There's this whole other world of investment banks called, you guessed it, boutique banks. Think of them as the specialists, the artisans of the finance world.
I like that. Artisans of finance.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between, say, a massive department store and a carefully curated boutique shop.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Both have their place, right?
Absolutely.
Bulge brackets, they offer a huge range of services, trading, underwriting, and of course, advising on mergers and acquisitions. They've got the resources to handle those massive, complex deals that span the globe.
Okay, so if bulge brackets are like the department stores of finance, everything under one roof, what makes boutiques so special? Why would a company choose to work with a smaller firm?
It often boils down to two things: specialization and personalized attention. Boutiques, they're laser focused. They might specialize in a certain type of deal, like mergers and acquisitions, or they might have deep expertise in a particular industry, like healthcare or technology.
So instead of being a jack of all trades, they're masters of one.
Exactly. And that deep expertise allows them to give really tailored advice, come up with creative solutions, things you might not find at a larger institution.
It's like choosing to see a renowned heart surgeon for a complex medical procedure versus a general practitioner.
Exactly. You want the best of the best for those specialized needs. And don't underestimate boutiques that can go toe-to-toe with those bulge bracket giants and win.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. They're agile, they're focused, and that allows them to move quickly, spot unique opportunities, and really tailor their strategies to what each client needs. In fact, some boutiques have been behind some of the biggest, most high-profile deals in recent years. They've gone head-to-head with those bulge bracket giants and come out on top.
David and Goliath, the finance edition.
I like it.
So, any examples of boutique banks that are really shaking things up out there?
Oh, there are quite a few, actually.
Right.
One that comes to mind is Evercore. They're a powerhouse, especially in the world of mergers and acquisitions, advising on major deals across all sorts of industries.
Impressive.
Another interesting one is Catalyst Partners. Relatively new to the scene, but they've quickly made a name for themselves, particularly in the tech sector.
Tech, that's a hot space for M&A, right?
You bet. And Catalyst has been behind some of the biggest tech mergers in recent years. It just goes to show that size isn't everything when you've got the right expertise and the right connections.
It's amazing how these boutique banks can be so influential, even when they're a fraction of the size of those bulge bracket giants. But whether it's a sprawling financial supermarket or a specialized boutique, the inner workings of these institutions, well, can seem a bit like a black box.
You're right. It can feel kind of mysterious from the outside. But at its core, investment banking, it relies on a combination of specialized knowledge and strong relationships. That's where the structure of these banks comes into play.
Okay, so let's unpack that. We're stepping inside the investment bank. Now could be a bustling bulge bracket or a more intimate boutique. What's the organizational structure like?
Think of it as a well-coordinated team, but with different areas of expertise. Within both bulge brackets and boutiques, you'll typically find two main categories of teams: coverage groups and industry groups.
Coverage groups, industry groups. Okay, I'm intrigued. What exactly do these groups do, and how are their roles different?
Imagine you're building a house, right?
Yeah, I'm picturing it.
Coverage groups, they're like your skilled contractors, your electricians, plumbers, carpenters. They specialize in specific financial products and transactions. So you've got mergers and acquisition specialists, debt financing gurus, equity capital markets experts, each with their own area of mastery.
Okay, so they're the specialists who know the nuts and bolts of each type of financial deal. What about the industry groups? What role do they play in this construction analogy?
Industry groups, they're your architects. They possess deep knowledge of specific sectors, understanding the trends, the competitive landscape, and the key players within those industries. You'll have groups dedicated to healthcare, technology, energy, you name it.
So to stick with the analogy, the coverage groups are wiring the house and installing the plumbing, while the industry groups are making sure the layout makes sense and the design aligns with the homeowner's needs.
That's a great way to put it. And just like you wouldn't want an electrician designing your floor plan, you wouldn't want a tech-focused banker leading the charge on a healthcare merger.
It's all about having the right expertise at the right time. Now, I'm curious to see how these groups actually work together. Let's say a tech company is thinking about acquiring a competitor. How would the coverage and industry groups collaborate on that deal?
That's a perfect example. Let's say our hypothetical tech company wants to expand its market share by acquiring a smaller rival. The industry group, in this case the TMT group, short for technology, media, and telecom, would leverage their deep understanding of the tech landscape to advise the client.
So the TMT group would be the one saying, hey, we've been tracking this smaller company. They've got some promising technology that could complement yours, and their market presence aligns perfectly with your growth strategy.
Exactly. They provide the context, the big picture strategic thinking. They'll be aware of any potential roadblocks, regulatory hurdles, or even cultural mismatches that could make the acquisition risky.
They're like the matchmakers of the deal, making sure it's a good fit strategically. So where do the coverage groups come in?
Once the strategic rationale is sound, the M&A specialists from the coverage group step in. They're the ones who will crunch the numbers, build the financial models, and determine a fair valuation for the target company.
They're the ones making sure the deal makes financial sense, right?
Yeah.
That the price is right and the numbers add up.
Absolutely. They'll also structure the deal, considering different financing options, tax implications, and legal considerations. And of course, they'll be involved in the negotiations, working to get the best possible terms for their client.
So it's a real team effort, with each group playing a critical role. The industry experts ensure the deal makes strategic sense, while the coverage specialists handle the financial and legal complexities.
It's a carefully choreographed dance that requires expertise, relationship building, and a bit of finesse. And when it all comes together, it can be incredibly rewarding to see a deal come to fruition, knowing you've played a part in shaping the future of these companies.
It's like the culmination of months of hard work, strategic thinking, and financial wizardry. Now, we've explored the different players in this world, from bulge bracket giants to specialized boutiques, and we've peeked behind the curtain to see how these institutions operate. But how does this all actually affect someone listening right now? Why should we, as individuals, care about the world of investment banking and these high-stakes deals? It's easy to think about investment banking, those mergers and acquisitions, as something that happens in this, separate world, this Wall Street bubble.
Right, it doesn't really affect our day-to-day lives.
Exactly. But the truth is, the deals that these bankers put together, they have this ripple effect.
It's true. They reach way beyond Wall Street. At its core, investment banking is about allocating capital. It's about deciding which companies, which projects get the funding, the resources to grow, to innovate.
And those decisions, they have a huge impact on the economy, on entire industries, job markets.
Absolutely. Ultimately on our lives, whether as consumers or just everyday people.
So it's not just company A buys company B. It's about, like you said, innovation, competition, even whether new jobs are created, right?
Exactly. Think about it. Let's say you have a big tech company and they acquire this really promising startup that's developing cutting-edge AI, artificial intelligence.
Okay, I'm following.
That acquisition, it could lead to huge advancements in AI technology. I mean, we could be talking about entirely new industries popping up, new jobs being created.
That's the dream, right?
Right. But on the flip side, it could stifle competition.
How so?
Well, if that big company absorbs its smaller rival, it eliminates a potential competitor.
Ah, I see. It's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah. Exactly.
So much to consider.
It really is. It's like a game of chess,
right?
Where each move can create amazing opportunities, but also, potential challenges.
Risk and reward.
Exactly. And understanding those dynamics, that's what gives you this valuable lens to really view the business world. You'll start to see how it's all connected.
Like a big web?
Exactly. A company's stock price suddenly goes up and you think, are they about to get acquired? Or you read about a merger and instead of just seeing those headlines, you can actually analyze what's going on behind the scenes, the strategy, and maybe even predict how it will impact the whole industry.
So it's about connecting those dots.
Yes, understanding the why, the how of what shapes the business world, and let's face it, our world too.
And that understanding, that can be really powerful, right?
Absolutely. It helps you make smarter decisions, whether you're an investor checking out a company, an entrepreneur looking for funding, or just someone who wants to understand what's happening in the world around them.
I love that. Knowledge is power. So, from those big-time bulge bracket banks to those niche boutique firms, we've gone behind the scenes to see how the world of investment banking really ticks. We've talked about coverage groups, industry groups. They're the architects, the builders of these financial deals. But maybe even more importantly, we've learned that what happens in this industry affects all of us. It shapes industries, it shapes economies, it shapes our lives.
It's true. This deep dive, it wasn't about making you an expert overnight.
Right. We don't expect anyone to become an investment banker after listening to this.
Exactly. But it was about giving you a glimpse, a taste of this fascinating world, equipping you with the knowledge to ask the right questions, to see beyond those headlines. And remember, the world of finance, it never sits still. There are always new challenges, new opportunities popping up.
Definitely.
So keep that curiosity alive. Keep learning, because the more you understand the forces at play, the better equipped you'll be to navigate this crazy, unpredictable world we live in.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's it for today's deep dive into the world of investment banking. Thanks for joining us.